on chosen communication channels. And I'm gonna be, you by this time you would have been introduced to the training vault, right? So I'm going to be doing some little videos to help with the what we call it now, you learning more about like how to choose communication channels and all these things, because there's so much I can fit in these specific lessons, because I don't want them to be too long, right? So just know that you'll always have some little offshoot videos that you can check out on your own convenience in the training vault. Anywho, so cool. Uh, First and foremost, all of these that I've listed are literally a part of, you know, general digital strategy that that need to be pretty much implemented. So I know it looks very long, right? The list looks very long, but the reason this list looks very long and some of these things are possibly like you're looking at them like, yo, where has this been? You know, a reality is that part of the reason why so many persons are not necessarily moving on digital is because they're leaving out one, two, three, four, or most of these things. You get me? But a reality is that all or at least 90% of these things work in tandem to get you moving forward in digital, right? Now, a reality though is that I always say this because I also practice this. A reality is that you trying to adhere to all of these things can become like, you can get obsessed over it. You can feel almost bound by it. And so I implore you, it's good to have the information, it's good to have the knowledge, and especially if you want to do seasonal big pushes and everything like that, it's important to have this information. But if you find that like digital is leading your life, and like you wake up, you're dreaming about the statistics, or sorry, the insights, you're dreaming about when it should schedule this, and not, that's just not right. So I'm just saying, just make sure that you're striking a balance in terms of just everything here. Because I've personally experienced it, I've personally witnessed it. Like, it's not cute when you become obsessed with these things, right? And when I say obsessed, it's not that it's a bad thing. Like, you didn't intend to become obsessed and stuff, but you realize just how much you need to get into a groove with these things, right? So at least you'll have the knowledge and you can work yourself into it. All right. So just wanted to give that full disclaimer. So calls to action, right? Directing persons as to specific action to take after interacting with your content, right? So people always tell you put a certain call to action like on every single post, even if it's, oh, drop a comment below, or hey, let me know how you spent your day, or meet me in the DMs, look at my stories, click the link in my bio. You get what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're provoking action. You want to make sure that persons don't feel like you're just talking at them, but you want to invite them in, right? So always try and make sure that you are including that thought in your mind when you're writing your copy, right? So that, yeah, people feel a part. And so that directly links to the next one, which is your engagement strategy, ensuring that you're facilitating, inspiring, and igniting communication, and so of course, please make sure that we realize that these three things are three separate things, right? And we shouldn't be complacent in terms of just thinking one is covered, so whatever. Facilitating is like when people actually comment on their stuff, like talk to them, like respond, or if people reach in your DMs, talk, right? Then inspiring, engagement and stuff. You want to make sure that people feel like once they've read your caption or looked at your carousel or your video or something like that, like they feel inspired to speak to you because of how you've packaged the post or something like that. So always seek to add value to the point of inspiring them to reach out to you. You get me? Because you don't want it to seem like you're always the one who has to be pulling the burden of just trying to get somebody to talk to you. And more often than not, a lot of the persons who end up talking to you are like the random spamming people or whatever, and it's not cute. And then igniting communication. So like igniting like a kind of discussion, under your posts and stuff. We see many times where there are some persons who share content and stuff, and the discussion just keeps going, right? And so you want to make sure that your content, literally helps to ignite discussions surrounding your content and stuff, right? So always, when you're creating your content, when you're writing your captions and all of that, always have that in mind. It's not always going to be a hit, but you want more hits than misses, clearly, right? So yeah. Next thing, visibility strategy. So these are tactics for building brand awareness, and they can be paid or organic. So by saying paid or organic, remember, we know boosted posts, we know advertising and stuff versus organic. And I mean, at this point, especially on Instagram, reels are, yeah, reels. That's the real organic-ish. And then of course, as well as like carousels and general videos and stuff. I mean, it's not wrong to be posting photos or standalone graphics and stuff, you get me? But a reality is that, yeah. Then also, so in terms of organic as well, you have hashtag strategy. And again, I'm just gonna like do a video for hashtags, because I feel like hashtags in themselves are something else, right? To kind of get used to, right? And also use correctly. So yeah, so say not to say, so that's that, right? Then no, sales strategy. Of course, this is the process leading to conversion, right? This leads person from cold to warm to hot, right? In terms of like the categories of leads, right? So with that said, we want to make sure that persons are nicely attracted and stuff. And then they move into considering, and then they move into, all right, cool, I'm potentially ready to buy. I'll go into that in the next slide a little bit, right? Then now we're talking about content marketing strategy, right? So cool, types of content, frequency, and messaging. We want to make sure, and I mean, of course, this everything that I've listed before has to do with your content, but it's just a general mapping out of how you're using your content, the types of content that you're creating, how often you're posting, what your content is focusing on, because you want to lead people down a specific customer journey, right? And I mean, again, I'll speak more about that. But saying that to say, make sure that you're being more purposeful with how you are putting out content in digital, right? And these three things in this bracket, it's important to to be thinking about them, right? And of course, again, I'm gonna be teaching you, like creating some videos, like showing you how to like create like a message map and things like that, right? So next thing now, so inbound marketing versus outbound marketing. Let me tell you, it's so interesting, because some persons will say, yo, like they love outbound marketing strategies, you get me? And I mean, of course, it directly correlates with outbound selling versus inbound and all of that. But yeah, so it feeds the sales strategy. Both of them feeds the sales strategy. But saying that to say, so inbound, people come to you. Outbound, you prospect people. So like you see, when persons potentially like reach out to you in the DMs and stuff, you are being prospected. Versus if somebody who has seen your content and all of that jumps into your DMs after, funny enough, a call to action, it means that, hey, that person is coming to you because you've effectively attracted them, right? So think about how you want to facilitate interactions with potential clients, whether inbound or outbound. And please note, you can do a mix, depending on, just your business model and just how you want to go about reaching your sales goals. Just saying, right? So saying that to say now, moving into campaigns, right? So targeted messaging and results during a specific period of time. So we know campaigns, it's literally that, so it's a specific time. So many campaigns can run from either 3 days, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. You rarely hear like a campaign, I mean, unless like it's a huge corporate entity or something like that. You rarely hear a campaign lasting more than like maybe 6 months or a year. But if because a reality is that it requires a lot of capital, it requires a lot of energy, it requires a lot of consistency and research and analysis and tweaking and all of these things. So campaigns like are normally meant to be high energy for a short period of time. And NPR, we call it like a PR blitz, right? So a PR blitz can, of course, guide various marketing strategies. Yeah, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but I'm saying that to say, so your campaigns, you definitely want to make sure that you have proper targeted messaging for a specific period of time. And of course, you want targeted results based on that targeted messaging, right? And so your campaigns are also working in tandem with how you choose to launch your services and your offers, right? So, and then with launching in itself, you have pre-launch, during the launch, post-launch, and stuff like that. And again, for this entire list, I'm just gonna be doing some videos because God knows. So there is a lot to learn and stuff. But again, I want to make sure you're aware of these things, right? And then so with that said, it goes right into community nurturing. So the launch phase and the nurturing phase are